Okay, so you are looking now at a TRF, which stands for Tutorial Request Form. Every day before we have a tutorial, it'll be your job to complete a TRF. You'll notice that score-wise, it's almost half of your final score for the tutorial. It's really important that on days we are going to do a tutorial in Avid that you come ready. And that means deciding which class you're going to focus on, deciding what area of confusion you're going to work through, and completing this work beforehand. So, of course, the top of it, you need to put your name, teacher. Don't worry about the Avid tutor until we actually are sure we have them. We're trying to figure that out right now. The date, and then the subject that you are going to be focusing on. I'll really encourage you guys to focus on your most challenging class for tutorial because tutorial is a great chance to work through complicated things with your classmates. At the top here, it does show you how that score will break down. The full tutorial process will be a 25-point assignment, which is more than our typical assignment because tutorial is really important and is a helpful way to guide your work for your academic classes. Up here, it talks a little bit about how tutorials get scored, but what I really want us to focus on is all this blank stuff. So your first job will be to choose which class you're going to work with for your tutorial and to decide on a topic or a question that your class has been focusing on. So this is a broad thing that your class is working on. Your initial question is going to be something that you were struggling with. So something that you feel like you either weren't able to answer or you don't think you answered it as strongly as you could have, but something that has been like enough of a challenge that you're going to focus on it for tutorial. Source here just means like where is that coming from? So if it's a math problem, it's going to be like the page in your textbook. If it's a certain like thing related to a quiz, that's going to be the source. So it's just so that you can go back and find where that information came from. So if we look at this example over here, I have a sample TRF. This is for a student taking AP Literature. So student AP Literature decides that they want to focus on their essay prompt. So this person, Jessica, is in a class and she's decided to focus on their large essay assignment that's just come up. So she writes essay prompt on story, and then the story they're focusing on. Her initial question, this is the thing that she is feeling challenged by that she wants to work through, and it's the actual prompt. So write a well-organized essay in which you analyze how some dude developed Strella's character through the use of specific literary elements. And the source, it's question 2. That's one of the AP prompts. So they're just pointing themselves back to where to find that. Next thing you need to do is list out some important academic vocabulary. So things that you need to know the definition of in order to understand how to do your question. So for Jessica, that is this term literary element and this word epiphany, because that's something clearly that she wants to talk about with this story. So if you're doing something related to a math class, it's going to be a math term. It's going to be math terms. If it's something for APUSH, it's going to be APUSH terms. What you already know about your question. This is a summary of what you have learned so far in answering the question. This doesn't have to be like a super long paragraph, but it should be enough that you are giving the people in your tutorial group some context. So you're kind of giving them enough information that they understand like how you've arrived at this topic. So for Jessica, that is a little bit of context about the story, like who the character is, what the story is about. This important detail right here, but it's just a little bit of context. This box here, the critical thinking about initial question with corresponding steps. The big thing here is that you're showing your thought process. So you're showing what you knew or what you were able to do before you got confused. So definitely you are able to do some things in all of your classes. And you want your tutorial group to understand how you arrived at your point of confusion. So the thing that you're challenged by. This can be drawn out. It can be a graphic organizer kind of thing. It can be something from your, like you taking parts of your notes and putting them here. You can see in this example, Jessica used she drew out some of her notes related to literary elements. And she has a couple little steps that she has gone through as well. So she annotated the text, she reflected back on her notes, she deconstructed the prompt, she applied the framework of the thematic statement. But this is like what she was able to do right up until she hit that point of confusion, which was actually writing the essay. The last thing you need to do, this will be the tutorial question. So the thing that you're really going to focus on in tutorial and ask your tutorial group members to help you work through. And this is the point at which you are stuck. So this shows everything you were able to do up until you get stuck. This is the question you have about what to do in order to move forward. So for Jessica, she wrote, after addressing the literary elements used in the essay, explain the ways I can effectively create a well-developed thematic statement that'll set up the introductory paragraph of my essay. So that's the part that she is challenged by, and that's the part that she wants to work through with her tutorial. We will look at a bunch of examples because you'll notice very quickly that the TRF is going to look different depending on which class it's for. So a TRF for an English class is going to be very different than a TRF for a math class or a TRF for a Spanish class or French class. Like they're all going to be different from each other. And the really important thing is that this is functional, that it works for you and for the way that you are asking for help and support from your group mates. But this was your first little review or introduction to the TRF form.